Angel Has Fallen is another movie in this franchise that I don't know how it turned into a franchise, but it is a franchise at this point. Other films in the franchise were called Olympus Has Fallen, and then it was London Has Fallen, and now it's Angel Has Fallen. And this one once again brings back Gerard Butler as Secret Service agent Mike Banning. Morgan Freeman is back, this time full-time as the president, and also Jada Pinkett Smith is in this movie for some strange reason. While Mike Banning is out protecting the president, there is an attack that happens, some kind of drone attack. A whole bunch of agents are killed, but he saves the president's life. And after that, Mike gets blamed for the shit. Like, people look at him and they're like, okay, well, clearly you had something to do with this. He's obviously set up and then he has to go on the run. In this movie, Mike is basically on the run from the law. He has to clear his name, find out who set him up, who tried to kill the president, who still might want to kill the president. You know, shenanigans and action and a bunch of stuff happens. And then that's... Look, let's just get this shit over with, man. Really starting to wonder if there's some kind of thing with the title Fallen. Like, why is that a thing? Is it going to continue to be a thing if this movie gets like a 4th or 5th movie? Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, and for the 2 religious people out there in the world that thought Angel Has Fallen has anything to do with Gabriel or Satan or whatever, just... relax, it has nothing to do with that. Still, all these names about fallen, I'm just kind of wondering, why is it always fallen? Like, why are things always falling in this universe? Can people not stand up? Do people not know how to do that shit anymore? Is the next movie gonna be called, oh, we done all fell down, and then the 5th one's gonna be called, shit, we really fell down, help us up, and then the 6th one's gonna be called, damn, y'all bitches really ain't gonna help me up? And the final conclusion to this whole franchise is gonna be, oh, damn, I picked myself up, I was just clumsy. Granted, that last title might be a little bit too long, but come on, this franchise has already gone on for too long. Wait, this is supposed to be the positive section of the review? I'm supposed to be telling you what I liked about the movie, and I instead started ranting about things that are falling down. Sorry about that. Suppose if I were to point out something that's good about this movie, it would be Mike Banning, aka Gerard Butler. Now, I've given Gerard Butler a lot of shit over the last few years because it seems like he always takes these roles where he gives the bare minimum. I call these minimum wage movies. Minimum wage movies are basically where an actor does the bare minimum just to get their wages. Like, basically they're mailing it in so that they can get a paycheck so that they can pay off a mortgage that they don't care about or maybe get extra gifts for Christmas or something like that. You know, it's just like one of those tax write-off movies. Gerard Butler has definitely been in a few of those disposable films over the years. What I will say is that at least in this movie he's giving an effort. And I think Gerard Butler has given an effort in all 3 movies of this franchise because I think he actually does really care about this character of Mike Banning. You're here for Gerard Butler giving a good performance and kicking ass and being that old reliable badass that gets knocked down and always gets back up. Well, this movie gives that to you. There's also some enjoyable back and forth in this movie between Gerard Butler's character and Nick Nolte, who in this movie plays Mike Banning's father. I'm not gonna spoil how he comes into the story or why he's even here, but the point is I liked some of the scenes between them. They had a good back and forth. There's some good baggage there. As a Gerard Butler movie, it's fine. It's cool. It's, you know, it's whatever. It works. If you're asking for this movie to be a good, competent action movie, like you actually have high hopes for it to be a decent watch, it fails at pretty much everything else. Start with the story and the screenplay for this movie, which is embarrassingly thin. Like, the stuff that they did for the story in this movie is like first draft type of bad. Mike Banning being a fugitive, it doesn't actually have any stakes in this story. It doesn't really affect him all that much. You feel like it doesn't really change him. It doesn't even really affect the story that much. Like, by the 3rd act of this film, you feel like it was kind of pointless and kind of meaningless. That's how a large majority of the story in this movie feels. It feels meaningless. It feels pointless. It feels like an excuse to have stuff happened and a bunch of boring FBI scenes. I know the FBI, generally speaking, are useless in movies, especially if they're in a movie like this where it's really about the protagonist saving the day. Come on, man, how many pointless scenes do we have with the FBI in this movie where they're in a room and they're looking for Mike Banning and they're just like, adjust that camera over there, and where's the satellite coverage here, and deploy your men over there, and hey, we're gonna get this son of a bitch. Jada Pinkett, God bless her, is in this movie in an incredibly thankless role. She does nothing, she is nothing in this movie. I'm not entirely sure why she's here. Unless, of course, this is one of those minimum wage roles that I was complaining about with Gerard Butler earlier, in which case, you know what? Everything makes sense now. Narratively speaking, the twist involving Mike Banning being a fugitive doesn't really do anything for his character or the story, and then you look at the way the villains are written in this movie, and it's pretty bad. Villains in this movie are written incredibly thin. There's little to no depth to their motivation. You really don't feel like you understand them as people, and you don't really give a shit about their plan and what they're plotting. The villains in this movie were basically nothing. Not only is it incredibly predictable who the villains are and how they're set up. It's just basically generic bad guy plan 101. But you know what? I can forgive some of the dialogue and the character decisions and the meandering, pointless story if the action in the movie at least was good. The action in the movie isn't even really all that good. They try to do this close quarters coverage style to the action. It's the style of action where you get in close, up close and personal with the action and the people that are involved in the action sequence. Film it in a way that it makes you feel like it's like right there and it's really intense and really gritty. And this kind of style can actually work if you actually keep the camera focused on what it's supposed to be focused on. In this movie, not only do they keep the camera way too close to the action and they don't keep everything in frame, there's a bunch of needless jitterbug shaky cam going on, and then there's that annoying quick cut shit. Like half the time in this movie, I had to rely on my ears more than my eyes to tell what was going on during an action sequence. But sometimes, like, I would have to listen for a gunshot and I'd be like, oh, okay, somebody got shot. I'd have to hear somebody like get hit in the face with something. I'd be like, oh, okay, that sounds like it hurt. Who got hit again? I realized out loud as I'm shooting this video that the Olympus Has Fallen franchise, I'm gonna call it that, I'm just gonna call it the Fallen franchise. The Fallen franchise has essentially become the new Taken for me. It's essentially Gerard Butler in a new Taken series, except it has to do with White House shit. Like the first Taken was a really good movie that I really enjoyed, and then the second and third movies were absolute shit, or at least close to it. That's how I feel about the Fallen series. Angel has fallen to new lows on this channel, and I'm gonna give this one the rating of kryptonite. Alright guys, those are my thoughts on Angel Has Fallen. Tell me, what's your favorite one in this franchise? Do you have a favorite one in this franchise? Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.